Did we fly across the world from Bali to Sweden with a cat on our lap?
Yes.
Was it difficult?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes and no.
Would you do it again?
Absolutely. If I had to.
Yeah.
Not out of fun, no.
No. Do not think this is for the weak. When we decided to move with our cat, it was never an option to leave her behind.
No.
And we really wish that during that time we found a video that can help us in this process, because it is actually quite extensive and quite complicated, especially from Bali to Sweden.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of answers, but most people had chosen cargo. So it wasn't a lot to bring them in cabin.
So the thing with us is that our cat, her name is Bully, she's a very... Is she in the background?
The ass. Her ass is in the background.
Bully, our cat, is a very anxious cat, and she's always indoors. She's never outside. She doesn't see other people all that much because we're always just indoors anyway. We don't really invite people to our home.
No.
So the thought of bringing her out to the world was quite anxiety inducing for us. So we really needed to prepare a lot of different things, and we found that there's a lot of different answers, like informations about it. We figured out that different countries have different regulations, and especially Bali is really complicated. And I feel like because a lot of people adopted a pet in Bali, I'm sure this video hopefully can help someone out there with the same situation.
Yeah.
Okay, so the process of pet transport. Step 1, know the rules. Gathering information. Talk to us your process of gathering the information. I remember I contacted the vet and I contacted some pet agency because of the vet.
Yeah.
And then what did you do from your end?
Well, of course, like you said, look up first the country you're bringing the pet into. What are their regulation, rules? And in Sweden, for example, I don't know if we're extra or the opposite, if it's easier here. But yeah, it was especially looking up the information, when to register what, how long, any quarantines. And you have to be specific as well that you are bringing in a pet from outside Europe and also like a rabies infested country.
A place where rabies
It's
is
not
not...
under control. We have different, like you had 3 different regulations depending where they're from. Europe, there was one way and it was very simple. Outside Europe, but still like in a place that doesn't have problem with rabies. And then a outside EU and has problem with rabies. So there's like 3 different lists and requirements depending on how and where.
And this is from Sweden.
This is from Sweden.
And then you also contacted the airline.
That's the next step, yeah. Especially, I mean, cargo, I think if you're flying with a pet in cargo, most airlines accept that. But if you're flying in cabin, a few does. And in this case, it may change in the future, whoever's watching this whenever. But right now it was Turkish Airlines and KLM. Those were the only ones accepting in cabin.
Yeah, so generally for the requirements, at least for us specifically, because we only have experience with flying from Bali to Sweden, so of course every other countries might have different requirements, so you might need to look that up on what that is. But number 1 is microchip. It has to be implanted inside the skin of the pet.
Yeah.
The rabies vaccine, that is still valid. And then the yearly vaccination with like distemper, hepatitis, parvovirus, parainfluenza.
That wasn't though in Sweden required, but that was required from Indonesia, right?
I think so.
This is actually, they may have just given her that, but we took it anyways. But I know from Sweden's side, they didn't have any special requirements for any other than rabies.
Okay.
Basically, you take the rabies vaccination, then you wait 30 days because the cat's body needs to build up the immunity. Then after 30 days, they will withdraw another blood sample, which then is going to be sent to a laboratory. This test, whatever you want to call it, takes about 2-3 weeks. And what they're doing is they're making sure that they fulfill a requirement, depending on the country. In Sweden, I think it was like 0.5 or something.
Yes,
like
it was 0.5.
Anti-rabies. But basically, it just makes sure that she cannot develop rabies. So like she can't have rabies because the immune system is...
It's a titer
resistant.
test.
Yeah, a titer test. After that, Sweden doesn't have any quarantine regulation in terms of some countries have that when you arrive at the airport, like of your destination, they want you to quarantine the pet for like a certain amount of weeks, but Sweden doesn't have that. However, what Sweden has instead is 3 months after this test is taken and sent to the laboratory, you have to have the pet outside Sweden for 3 months. And that's just like a quarantine time, but that's because we don't have any quarantine time when you get to Sweden itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has to be 3 months after the test results, basically, so they can make sure that the pet does not have rabies, it cannot get rabies, and it doesn't transfer rabies, like it doesn't come with rabies.
Yeah. So those are generally the informations that you need to know before doing anything, right? We started gathering all these informations probably...
We were actually pretty late.
Yeah.
Because we didn't think this whole like sending to a lab and getting a test result back was taking that long.
Yeah. So we started contacting the vet at least in September, late September 2025.
Yeah.
And we left on 28th of February 2026. So it takes a few months. And that is probably the closest or like the quickest that we can actually fly with her.
To Sweden.
To Sweden, yeah. Because on September, we were quite confused like where to do the vaccinations and yada. And then we also need to figure out, okay, our living situations in Bali, and do we move to Jakarta first, and how is that supposed to go? So
yeah, we thought for a while we could move her out from Bali.
Yeah, so we could just fly from Bali, but apparently we couldn't do that. So we had to fly from Jakarta. Transferring pets from Bali to Jakarta is quite difficult and complicated and a little bit illegal.
Sweden has no regulation that it can't come from Bali. Like Sweden itself, or like European countries, doesn't care too much. However, Indonesia itself says that you can't bring out pets from Bali. However, there is open groups and companies that will help you do this.
Yeah, considering that Bully was not like a Bali cat.
Yeah, if it came down to it, she wasn't a Bali cat to begin with, so I'm sure we could have, if we had to like actually get her out of there, if they stopped or whatever and be like, nope, you can't bring the pet out.
Yeah, last time we bring her from Jakarta to Bali, it was really bad experiences for me at least, because
I barely knew her at that point, so...
Yeah, we used the pet cargo service, and I was already in Bali, so she travels on her own with, of course, the pet cargo, but I wasn't with her, so there's like some miscommunications that happened, and I didn't hear any news for like a couple of hours. She was supposed to arrive on like 5 p.m. and we haven't heard anything back on 11 p.m. and that was like stressful for me. So I didn't want that to happen again. Therefore, hiring a pet cargo for her to travel on her own was never in the cards. If we have to transport her from Bali to Jakarta, we're coming with her during that transport, so we can, you know, check on her, we can maintain how she is, take a little bit of break, make sure she eats something, make sure she pees and poop. We needed to find a travel agency that can help us do that and is willing for us to come with them, because that's usually not what people do. They just usually, you know what, this is my pet, please transfer it, I'll wait on the destination.
Yeah.
Isn't that right, Bully?
Sports car.
Yeah, so tell them what we do next.
Yes, Bully, tell them.
Tell them.
A lot of companies offers to send your pets, but of course usually that means that there will be multiple other pets. They're just getting them from point A to point B. But yeah, after that whole incident when she was going from Jakarta to Bali, we said, no, we want to go with. So we asked a company like, hey, is it possible for us to come with you? Like, we didn't mind if there were other pets too, I guess, but we were at least like, we want to go with her because she is anxious. It's gonna take a while, and because of the bad experience, like we want to go with her. We can pay extra, that's fine. And luckily enough, they did offer this service that we could go with them. So yeah, it cost extra, a lot extra, but it's worth it. Like, it's family.
She's our child. There's no way we're gonna leave her behind.
No, and also because we know she's so anxious, doesn't like new people, or it's not that she doesn't like new people, but has a hard time like warming up to people, takes a while, and she gets very stressed and wants to hide. Like, just knowing that we couldn't be there to at least try and comfort her. Now, of course, when she's all worked up, we can't do much anyways, but at least we tried and like give her food, sit with her, talk to her, like, you know, comfort basically. But of course, if your pet is very social, has no issues like traveling and stuff, I don't think it would be a big issue.
Which step was this? Step 1 is gathering information, know the rules. Step 2 is find a vet, get the vaccinations, get the microchip, get the blood results, send the blood.
Usually though, the vet does this.
Yeah.
So
Step 3.
find a veterinary, like ask the vet, depending on yet, like we can sit here and say step by step all we want, but unless you're going to Sweden, this is not gonna all apply. So usually, or what we did, we asked the vet, like, have you ever had experience with sending them to our country? And you should do the same to your country. Like for us, it was Sweden. Or like, yeah, we sent multiple pets to Europe and Sweden specifically, so they could help us with like what's needed.
With the details.
Yeah, with the details. So
yeah, but this is, we're telling them what we did.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay. After you contacted the vet, you get all of the things. You did the microchip, you did the vaccination, and then you have to wait for a month. This is if you take the vaccine, like the rabies vaccine, you have to wait a month to get your cat's blood to be sent to the lab that this designated country accepts. So for us, we had to send her lab to UK. It was BioBest lab, and that process alone, we have to wait for 6 to 8 weeks until we get the test results back to show that, okay, all the lab results are good, the titer test is okay, it's normal, yes, you're free to go, basically. However, the next step is we have to wait 3 months, specifically for Sweden, because Sweden needs to have like 3 months of quarantine. Not specifically like quarantine, she has to be completely isolated in a cage or something, but she needed to have 3 months of waiting period before she leaves for Sweden after the titer test.
Yeah.
Right?
Or entering Sweden.
Or entering Sweden. And in that case, for us, because we are traveling from Bali to Sweden, we have to go through Jakarta. And we don't want to cramp up all of the transportations or the traveling period all in one, because that's gonna stress her too much. What we did, we ended up moving back to Jakarta in December.
1st of December, they came, they picked us up, the pet transport, took us from Bali to Jakarta.
And then we wait 3 months in Jakarta.
We arrived in Jakarta, time was ticking, things happened, we didn't have to do too much for a while, but then Sweden has some other regulations in terms of bringing in the pets. So basically, upon arriving, you have to also have a health certificate and a ownership, but that you can do whenever, like just basically claiming that you're not gonna sell the cat and stuff like that. But they need a health certificate, and I think this is pretty common for most countries as well. A health certificate is basically you take the cat to the airport or a legal veterinarian, or like what you call it, a veterinarian. Like it can't just be any veterinarian, they have to have special permissions, I guess, from the government in this case, but it has to be a registered veterinarian. And what they do there is basically they quickly check up on her, make sure every paper is correct, she has everything, like the vaccination, that she's good to fly, like they're not too overweight or has problems, I don't know if they're sick or whatever. So we're here for Buli's health checkup before we go. This is 2 days before our departure, so we have to check if she's okay, if she's healthy, if she really doesn't like the vet. In Sweden, it's 8 days before flying. You have to have this health certificate done. Like you can't do it before. Like it has to be at least 8 days before, or even less. However, in Indonesia, this health certificate was only valid for, I think they said 5 days. 4 days, I think. Four or 5 days, something like that. Meaning we wanted to do it like 4 days or 5 days before, but we had to do it like 2 days before flying out. And this, yet again, the company that helped us with the transport, we just kept in touch with them and they helped us with this too. So yeah, they picked us up, they took us to a veterinarian at the airport, and this veterinarian then quickly checked her, made sure all the papers are correct, that she's looking fine, healthy. And also fill in the documents that needed to be filled out before. Yeah. It's for her check-in basically. Yeah, well, the health certificate. Yeah, so we do highly recommend hiring a pet
transport agency because the documentations is truly extensive.
Yeah.
Especially in Indonesia, there's so
Yeah.
many silent, kind of unwritten regulations or rules that it's hard to know those things if you don't work with a pet agency. And they've been doing this a long time, and I was really glad that we worked with a pet agency because it really helped us during the check-in as well.
Yeah, we're gonna get there, but no, for sure. Like usually, it is not this extensive to get a pet out of a country, but it is unfortunately Indonesia making it even harder to get them out because Indonesia itself has a lot of regulations. And like I said, like this health certificate is lower or shorter than most countries have. They have their own regulations, and you can't do this, you can't do that. Most countries you can use, as long as you have the vaccinations correct, you can do most things yourself, but in this case you couldn't. Like you need special approval and stamps, and only certain people can get those. So yeah, you kind of need to go through an agency to get all of these documents done, and especially in time.
Can you do that without a paid agency? Yes. However, it's gonna be super hard.
I don't think you could.
Really?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, I can't remember, but I was texting them a lot of the times. And there was something, because I did one, of course, because the whole flying and everything was going to cost a lot already.
Yeah.
So I did ask them, like, out of trying to save a little money, of course, like, can we do this? Can we do that? Can we contact this? I think, for example, the health certificate and stuff like that. I asked, like, can we just contact someone and they'll help us, like a veterinarian? And they're like, no, it has to be this and that. And like, it can only be done through
The pet transport
agency. Yeah. So no, I actually think you can't. But either way, you shouldn't in this case, because yes, it's gonna cost a little extra. But yeah, coming up to what you were saying with the check-in, then the day of the departure, they said for us to meet them there at the check-in. We arrived with her, and then we met up with one of the agents, and they basically took care of all, which was very nice. Like, we just went up to the counter, gave them like normally your passport, tickets and everything, but then they themselves, like this agent, knew exactly what to do, knew exactly what to write, talk to them to make sure the check-in goes smooth, and then also made sure we got a paper that basically says that they don't have to remove the pet from
The carrier.
Yeah, the carrier, as the carrier has already been accepted or checked or whatever you want to say.
Yeah, because I think we've seen a lot of videos on how to travel with a cat, and a lot of those videos says that you have to let the cat out in the airport, and we didn't want that because she's super scared and she's super anxious as a cat, and that's just gonna make the whole process difficult for
She
everyone
likes to
involved.
run and hide.
Yeah, she likes to run and hide, and yeah, we just want to make sure that she's comfortable, we're comfortable, it's less work for everyone. We really needed to work with a pet agency for that.
Yeah, because I know you can get private screening. So basically what you're talking about is they have to x-ray your carrier, of course, to make sure there's nothing in there that shouldn't be in there. But I know also that there is private screening rooms at most airports that you have to ask for in advance. So that's why, like, we wanted to know, like, do we have to ask for this? Will you help us with this? But they said, like, no, we'll give you a paper that basically tells them that you're allowed to bring this carrier without checking it. At least in Indonesia.
Let's talk about price. How much does it cost for us to get Bully from Bali to Sweden?
Flight or included or no?
In total, and then we break it down.
I don't know exactly, to be honest with you.
Like estimation, maybe? I'd say it's above 20 mil, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like
Way above my
like 30?
More, way more.
Really?
Just the vaccination and the pet transport and everything was like 30 mil.
I remember I paid 7 mil-ish, maybe 7, or like, no,
Yeah.
for the vet. That's including like titer test and everything else.
Yeah, but that was in Bali.
That
Yeah.
was in Bali.
Yeah, and then the pet transport from Bali to Surabaya, I think we paid around 10 mil as well. And then from Surabaya to Jakarta, how much was that?
That was like 5, 6.
5, 6, yeah.
Pet transport, remember I paid also 9-ish, almost 10.
And then the flights, if you're just flying with a pet in cargo, I think it would be maybe 5 mil, 6 mil just to register her. But then because we bought
We bought an extra seat for her.
so we get the whole row to herself. So that's why. If you're not doing that, it would be like maybe 5, 6 mil depending on the airline. I think KLM was a little more expensive, so that there was like 10, 15 mil. Because we bought the seat another 20 bill, I think it was something like that.
Yeah.
So all in all, maybe...
And also because we fly on weekends, so we pay extra for weekend transport.
Yeah, there was some extra charges to do, but
That's a lot of extra charges.
the total will be here somewhere. You'll have to edit it because I don't remember exactly, but...
Ding, 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 ding. Okay.
But it was a lot. But then again, it's also because we were very careful. We wanted to go with her. We wanted to make sure she had this and that she's comfortable. If your pet is very social, has no problem traveling and stuff, I'm sure you can get under.
So we talked about the pre-departure. Now let's talk about during the flight. To me, during the flight, it's more anxious because sometimes, you know, when she kind of bumped her head up, maybe it was just because the medications has worn off. Oh, actually, yeah, we talked about that. Medication. We also paid for medication.
Yeah, but that wasn't a lot. From my understanding, of course, this is from airline to airline, but most airlines doesn't allow you to fully...
sedate.
Yeah, they have to be conscious. That's because of the air pressure and stuff and regulation in body temperature. That's why they don't usually allow it. However, anti-anxiety medication is okay. So like to calm them down. So we gave her gabapentin before taking off because we thought that her biggest issue would be at the airport because it was going to be a lot of noises, a lot of smells, a lot of people, a lot of movement. But at the airplane, we thought it would be fine. So we gave her before we took off. So you're basically only allowed to give them 2 per day. So we gave her 1 before we went in Jakarta, like before going to the airport. And that worked perfectly fine until we got on the actual flight. Then we could tell it was starting to wear off a little, but that was like 6 hours, 7 hours later. So it was a while. We gave her about half of those on the airplane and then about half of those when we were transiting.
Yeah.
And that was more than fine. I think we should have given her half all the way through because I feel like it was a little strong to give her 1 from the start. Like she's fine, like don't get me wrong, but I think she's fine with traveling and stuff with only half of those. Like she didn't need the full dosage because when we gave her half and we were in the transit area and stuff, she was more than fine. She was just chilling.
Usually you give the medications every 12 hours.
Yeah.
Recommended, right? So we would prefer it to be half in 6 hours, right?
Yeah, or when needed.
People would need to know, like during the flight, yes, we were just kind of sitting there. Maybe some tips and tricks during the takeoff and the landing. You just kind of pick up.
Yeah, you just lift the carrier.
Lift the carrier a little bit so that she would not be as like...
It doesn't feel because it's very shaky when you take off.
Yeah, she doesn't feel the shakiness. And also carrier is a big thing because usually it's every airline will have different and specific requirements for what the carrier is supposed to be, making sure that it's... What was it that you said before? Like soft?
Special, no, it said something.
Special soft.
Yeah, special soft.
Special soft carrier. So it's not the big, thick metal cage, but we bought for her the expanded version so she can have more rooms. We bought a harness for her, but we didn't really use it because she would hate it.
We bought it because if we had to take her out during the x-ray, we wanted her to have a harness so she wouldn't run away or like hide or anything like that. But since they told us we're gonna get this paper that allows us to go through anyways, we never put the harness on her. But of course, if your cat doesn't mind, it's just another safety. You may as well, if your cat won't hate it and like start crying too much about it, just put it on.
What about the eating and pooping on the airplane?
I mean, we kind of knew she wouldn't go. When we took the car ride from Bali to Jakarta, she didn't go once during 24 hours.
25,
yeah,
26.
25, 26. So we knew she could make it because when we did get to our place in Jakarta, she went and pooped and peed just fine. So it was fine. I mean, of course, it's not recommended because, I mean, it is a long time. But, I mean, we tried several times. We stopped the car. We stopped for like 10, 15 minutes every here and there and let her out. But she was just not going. She was too curious, like slash anxious.
Too confused.
Yeah.
She's like, what is this?
Yeah, she was too confused. So we knew from the car ride that she would be fine during like the actual like being in the air. But of course we tried because when we were up in the air, what is it?
Where is she?
She's in that room sleeping.
Oh.
But yeah, we knew she would be fine if she had to wait. But basically we took a longer layover, so we could take 2 hours or 6 hours in Turkey. But of course, like if there was any delays, if there was any issues, I thought we may as well take like 6 hour layover. Yes, it's gonna take longer, but then we can chill there, she can calm down, she can do her business. So we tried on the airplane because she got a little restless when the medication wore off, and she's like started moving around and bumping her head in the, not like hard, but like, yeah, she wanted to get out basically. And we were not sure, like, does she want to go pee, does she just need attention, is she just restless, because she's not much of a speaker when she's scared. Like in the home she speaks to us, but like when she's scared or like anxious, she runs and hide or something, like she doesn't talk much. So she didn't really communicate in that sense what she needed, so she just started seeking attention basically and just bumping her head a little, like.
But she was really bumping her head, like I can tell like she's scared, I guess, or like really confused and stressed out because I think the medications were wearing off.
Yeah, and that's why I think also giving them too strong dose is not what you want either, because if they're too sedated, they're gonna get confused once it wear off, like, where am I? And of course, I mean, I'm sure most of us has probably been under some medication at some point for whatever it is. So like, you know how you can be kind of out of it, and when you wake up, you're kind of like, whoa, feeling groggy. Or I mean, just a hangover. No, so we tried taking her out, and like we had a portable litter box and everything, but she just wouldn't go. She just climbed on us. So we did that every now and then so she could stretch on the airplane too. But she didn't go. But then when we landed in Turkey, we basically went to a toilet. We put out her litter and everything, and we just sat down there for like half an hour.
We're in Turkey, and it's so nice that actually they have like a pet relief area for little bulls. I'm sorry. But so far, the flight itself is very smooth.
Landing was very smooth.
Yeah, highly recommend Turkish Airlines. And the flight attendants are very attentive, very caring towards my cat. I think she is probably just very confused and scared. So yeah, we gave her half more of the gabapentin, anti-anxiety pill, for little bulls. And hopefully it's gonna get better, because the next flight is only gonna be 4 hours to Stockholm before we have to drive to Marcus's hometown.
We were in Turkey airport and we spent like 2 hours probably looking for the pet relief room.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no.
It was so long. It's like, where is this place?
We spent almost 2 hours walking around Istanbul airport trying to find the pet toilet, the pet relief room, which is here. We finally found it. To then found out that it's not up to Bali standard. We chose a very far away disabled bathroom so that she can do her thing. Marcus is grabbing us some food, and we still have 4 hours to go in this transit, and then Stockholm.
I mean, Turkey is well known for having like loving pets, so they do have,
especially cats.
Yeah, especially cats. So they do have like pet relief station where supposedly they have like a big sandbox, scratchers, stuff like that. And like we were walking around so much because there's like signs were not really showing where it was, and we tried to ask people. And
people were also like confused and didn't know and gave us like wrong directions.
Yeah, and probably they just wanted to be nice, which is nice, but at the same time, like, they didn't properly know where it was, so how to get there. So they gave us direction, and they sounded confident in the beginning, like, oh no, it's just walk there and go there and that you're fine, you're gonna find it. And we did that, and we're like, no, we can't find it. And we asked people, and everybody gave us
even
different
the
direction.
information people.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, I appreciate being nice and like and trying to help, but at least be honest. And I don't know, maybe there, because it's like we were walking around for so long just trying to find, and we were tired at this point. And once we actually found it, it was not well maintained. Like,
no.
If you're going to Turkey and you expect to take out your pet there, hopefully we were just there on a bad day, but it smelled like poop. It was very dirty. Like, we were like, nah, we're not letting her out here.
Yeah, and it also really smells like other animals, and I know Bully will hate that.
So we just found a toilet. Yeah, we just sat down with all of her stuff. We put out her litter box, opened her carrier, and just let her walk around and stretch. And fortunately, she did go and pee at least. She didn't poop, but she went to the toilet.
We have to be quiet. She's peeing. She peed, and hopefully she wants to move. But
So we sat there for a while, let her climb on us and just explore a little.
She ate a little.
Yeah, she ate. No, I mean, she ate on airplane too, so that was fine at least. So that way we knew that she wasn't at least hating everything. Like
Yeah.
she did at least eat and sleep occasionally, but yeah, she had occasionally like, I want to do something, get out or get attention about.
Yeah.
But
So the things that you need during the flight is of course the pet carrier, whichever your cat prefers. For us, it's the expendable one with the special stuff. You can just open and put your hands inside and to make her feel a little bit better. And then also make sure that you put something familiar inside the carrier. Like for us, we put my husband's shirt and then
maybe a pee pad or something.
yeah, on top of a pee pad, just to make sure. We also train her to like that pet carrier for, like we just put the pet carrier inside the room so she have learned to feel safe inside that carrier.
That is recommend. I mean, that's gonna be your top recommendation. Like buy the pet carrier in time and
Train
put it out somewhere where they feel safe to explore it and feel like
this is a safe space.
You also need to make sure the sizes add up. In our case, we did get away with having a little oversized. They're not, to my understanding, too picky about it, unless, like everything, like if you come at a bad day or with the wrong personal, they may check it. So what we actually did is we had a little oversized one because finding the exact correct one wasn't very hard. And the measurements are very strict in my opinion, like it's very small, like the actual allowed size. So we did bring a little bigger one or oversized one, and then we did have a backup one that was a little smaller, but it fit in my backpack. So in case they would be like, nope, you can't go with this one, we did have a backup that we could put her in as well.
Fortunately, we didn't get to that point, so we can just take her in the bigger one.
Yeah.
So pet carrier, pee pad, make sure that it feels safe, smells familiar, and then portable litter box, of course the litter, food, preferably like wet food, right?
Yeah.
And then a lot of snacks, the wet snacks, like the liquid snacks.
Yeah.
Of course, the medication if you need. Make sure that you consulted with your veterinarian first, because I know every cat or every pet will need different things with different dosage, maybe different medications.
And if you're bringing medication, make sure you try it before leaving.
Yeah.
To make sure they're not having a bad reaction to it.
And make sure all the documents that she needs, take it with you on your carry-on in an easily accessible place, along with your passports and all of those things, because they will ask it and they will check it a lot. I know taking a cat is already anxiety inducing, so make sure that it's easily accessible so you don't like stress out and oh my god, where is it?
Yeah.
Find a place where it's secluded. If you do have transit, make sure that you pick a longer transit period, just in case like she needs more time to pee, poop, rest, calibrate herself, and also for you to grab something to eat, to wind down, to chill a little bit, so that if you're not stressed, then everything will go smoother. And especially rushing is really unhelpful in situations like this. So make sure you get to airport on time, maybe like way earlier, because you wouldn't know if there's any different regulations. We experienced it as well, like with the baggage, for example.
Oh yeah.
Of course, we knew it's gonna be overweight, and we are prepared to do that because we don't want to cargo things to Sweden. We just wanna have one big carrier and that's it. So I thought we could just do that in one big carrier and pay for extra fee. However, there was a new regulations in Jakarta during that time that maximum would be 32 kg. So if it's above 32 kg, you have to separate it into a different box or different luggage and then check that baggage in. We didn't know that before, so that took a little bit of time, and there was like a lot of people during the check-in as well.
Yeah, no, and that was nice with having
the pet agency.
Yeah, there was a long line for the check-in. However, because we had a pet, and I don't know if they have certain privileges or anything, but we could basically just skip the whole line with the person in question or the agent in question from the agency.
Yeah.
So that was very nice.
If you don't have that, make sure you come in way earlier, and I'm not kidding, like maybe 3 hours earlier before check-in open, just to make sure, like just hang out there, say goodbye to your family, maybe go and have a little bit of eat. That's the airport. And then we fly to Sweden. It was a shorter one. It was only like 4 hours, I think.
Yeah, 3 hours to 4 hours, yeah.
3 to 4 hours, and that was fine.
We were pretty lucky because all the flights were on time. This whole thing in...
The war with Israel and Iran.
Yeah, that whole thing just broke out like 2 days before or 1 day before even.
Yeah.
So a lot of like Qatar Airways and stuff shut down their routes. So we were very lucky, and also that everything was on time. Everything went smoothly except the check-in took a little longer than expected. But that was maybe our fault, I guess. We didn't check that beforehand. But yeah, no, we got to Sweden. Luggage came in time. The migration was very smooth. Of course, yet again, this is very depending on probably who you have there, if you have all papers ready, how many people they are, which country. But yeah, no, we walked up, gave them the papers, they took a quick look, and it was fine. We were in.
And what do we do after we go into Sweden? Like, if do you need to go to a vet to check up after, and blah blah blah?
No, it was a little... He gave us a little misguided information, I guess. But then again, this is very Sweden specific, I guess. But he basically said that within 60 days, I think he said, you have to go to a veterinarian to get like a passport or like register her. And I was like, I didn't see that online. Because we have different government's own, I don't know, policies or whatever you say. So I called the main one, they're called Jordbruksverket. So if you're Swedish or bringing a cat to Sweden, Jordbruksverket is basically the one that you should look at the most, because they are like the one that makes all the decision in Sweden, you could say, or like have all the information. You can easily email them. I had a back and forth conversation. They were very helpful. I contacted them once we were in Sweden and asked them about this, like the passport, and I was like, well, what does it mean 60 days to register this? And basically all they said, like, if you're planning on traveling with your cat again inside Europe and stuff, they need an EU passport, and then it's easiest to just go and register her now while you still have all the papers up to date and stuff. But since we're not planning on doing that, we really didn't do that. That could be worth doing if you're planning on traveling more with your cat. But otherwise, I just had to go and register her being in Sweden now, basically. But yeah, I just registered her online, that she's in Sweden now, and her ID, the owner, the address.
I copy everything and scan everything just in case.
Bring everything physically. It's just easier. Like,
don't separate it in your luggage check-in. Bring it all with you in the carry-on.
Yeah, that too, but also like a lot of the things they'll send digital, which I'm sure is fine, but just having it all
just print it.
Just have it all in a bunch, just give it to them, so whatever they need, they can find it.
What would be the biggest tips for those who wants to bring a cat to Europe?
Time. It's going to require time and effort. Like, it's not a process that you're just doing in 1 week or 2 weeks. Like, make sure you look everything up in time, that you give it time.
Be patient.
And of course it's going to cost you money. That's for sure. Like, especially for Indonesia, unfortunately, like, a lot is extra. The more money you have, the easier it is, in a sense.
Yeah, that's why we wanted to make this video, so that you are prepared to what's to come.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that, yet again, with time and planning, like, you can save up more money then. So even if you're not fortunate and can just splurge your next income on the whole thing, like, yeah, just make sure that you plan ahead of time, 6 months, a year even ahead. Save.
I would say a year.
Save some extra money, make sure you find a good ticket and try and get as much help as possible, especially in Indonesia, with like a pet transport that can help you. I think the most challenging thing was actually getting her out of Indonesia.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, there was so many regulations, ways we have to go by it, like from Bali to Jakarta, you needed this, you needed that, it has to be this and that, and it's like, at least in Sweden, it's like, you know which veterinarian is certificated, you can just go there yourself, you can call them. But it was a lot, unfortunately, in Indonesia. Like, maybe there is ways around it, I don't know. But yeah, it was a lot, like, you need people to help you, and of course they're gonna ask for money.
That's the nature of it.
So be ready, like, it's gonna cost you, but it's worth it. It's family after all. If you're more lucky than us, maybe in that sense, your pet is more social, maybe it's gonna be easy. Like, I've seen videos of cats just running around on the airplane, being super happy, meeting and greeting people.
Yeah.
So like, if you have that kind of cat, like, it's gonna be very easy for you. Yeah. Still plan, of course, but
for us the challenge is because she's a super anxious cat.
Yeah. So we
and she's also half blind.
Yeah. So we just wanted to make sure she was as comfortable as possible, but then also I especially am a very, like, extra cat parent. So like, yeah.
For me, it's not just thinking about my cat, it's also like I know this one particularly is super anxious and a little bit stressed out during the whole thing.
I thought I was expecting way worse, honestly. So even though she was a little upset in the carrier and like wanted to get out, like I was never worried that she was in pain or anything, because just like humans, like when we fly, like in our ears, they can get blocked. But since animals can't really regulate themselves like we can, we humans, that's why you should bring a lot of lick treats or like wet food, because from my research online, take it with a grain of salt. Licky treats like makes them swallow, which like humans unleashes or unlocks, removes it. Yeah.
I think I am really grateful that you were there. I can imagine like if you're by yourself, it would be quite stressful and difficult. The really nice thing is that during the flight, I basically take care of her and he's taking care of all the logistics. That was nice because I'm not very good with logistical stuff. So if you're flying together, make sure you also delegate like departments, like what are you responsible for and what are you responsible for. Just divide responsibility and work as a team.
Yeah.
For her. Checking in on them during the flight. For at least for us, we truly like during that whole flight, during that whole trip, we put her first as first priority. So as much as I want to stop and look around in the duty free, we didn't do that at all. We just chill and then take turns on you get some food and I'll wait for her and stuff.
Yeah, and on the flight, like make sure one of us was awake all the time so we can make sure if she needed something, she could get it. And yeah.
Take turns on sleeping.
Make a planning list. That's also recommendation. I'm not much of a planner in that sense. You are better than me on that, but like definitely make a list, especially before flying, like requirements, what you need to bring, because it's so easy in the chaos, especially if you're moving yourself, like if you've been living there for a while, like you're gonna have your head full of things you need to bring and you need to think of and when landing and stuff. But make a list, make a checklist or some sort, like this is what I need, this I have, this I'm gonna get, just to make sure that.
Along with the deadlines, like I did that. Like all of the checklists, along with the deadlines, along with the requirements, along with the things that we need or things need to buy, and make sure that you actually, if you are working with a pet agency, ask them everything. If you have any question, ask them until you really understand and you don't miss anything, because it can be quite fatal, especially if you're flying with a cat and you're moving outside of your country in a place where you don't know the regulations of. That is really important, I think.
Yeah, because I mean, this is yet again from country to country, but you don't want to be denied at your destination because you're missing a paper. Both because it would suck and you would have to probably go back, or worst comes to worst, they may take the animal from you. And I know even in Sweden, now this is probably worst case scenario, but it did mention that in worst case, they're gonna put down the animal. Like if they have rabies, for example, or you can't prove they don't have, and you're like trying to get them in without the right papers, like that may deny you entry. And if you're not flying back with the animal to your destination or something, or reaching destination, they may put them down and stuff. Like you don't want to have those things on your mind. So make sure you have every paper, have it ready, have the correct one. It's a process, it's an experience. Nothing I probably would do again if I really don't have to. Like unless something happens in Sweden and we have to go somewhere else with a flight again, like, no.
I guess it would be easier maybe to hire a pet transport and cargo them. Maybe that would be simpler, but for us, we don't know about that case because that was never an option for us, as in we don't want that for her. We don't want her to be lost, or we don't want her to be scared or anxious by herself in a carrier or like in a cage somewhere inside, and I don't know, and being taken care of by people that don't know her. Like that would be, even just thinking about it, I don't want that for her. But if you're okay with that, I mean, who are we to say?
Yeah, no. I don't think you should, but if you don't have any other options,
it's better to do that rather than just putting them down or leaving them behind. And
it's part of your family. You should take care of them. It's gonna cost you an arm and a leg, but unless you're super struggling and you can save that from just not buying luxurious things for yourself, or a coffee or two, or eat out every day for 2-3 months. It's worth the little extra money you pay for sure.
I'm really glad we did it. I did not regret any single thing.
I'm happy we did it too. We're very happy, and
You did a good job.
you too. We did a good job. We're a team. All right, you continue doing your thing. I've been here for way too long. It's outside my comfort zone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I hope this video helps. If you have any questions, just leave a comment down below. I'll try my best to answer. Help, like, share, subscribe, follow for more.
Okay, I'm off.
Bye.